Okay, guys, so I was asked why I don't talk about this tree or that tree by my friend, and honestly, it's just because I never really think about them. But most of you know my story. I moved here 3 years ago this past February. I had started an orchard prior to that at the location that I share with my husband, but certain events transpired and I had to walk away from that and the trees. And so here I am. I purchased another property and started all over again. So this is an overview of where I've come since February of 21. So all of these trees have been planted since that time. So this one right here is the Blenheim apricot. It's one of my earlier trees. And I think it was planted in, February of 22. And it hasn't fruited for me yet, but I think if I'm judging right, I should have some fruit possibly this year off of that one. I was concerned at first, honestly, because you see, I have all these trees around my house, so my space is really limited to where I can put things and plant things because of the shade. But any place that I thought I got a little bit of sun, I stuck something in the ground, and I now have over 100 fruit trees. Here is my pineapple guava. This past winter, it did flower, and the flowers were delicious. However, it did not fruit. And this was planted February of 23. I have two more further down. I'll get to those, I think, if I don't forget. And then here I have another apricot tree, and this is the Moore Park. It's a newer one. I think this might be its first winter here. Let's see. Yeah, I planted that in February of this year, actually. So that is the Moore Park. This area here is really, I planted for the bees. I just put a bunch of stuff out here and just let it go, really, for the bees. The weeds are trying to take over, but I don't think they're going to be successful because I put a lot of stuff out here that would spread. And again, that part there is mostly shaded, but the part down here that's more in the sun is spreading really nicely. I have some asparagus, two different varieties of asparagus out here. I know that's going to take over eventually. I have yarrow, all kinds of things out here. Fennel, thyme, and that thyme is really spreading nicely. This is a tree I planted specifically for the bees. This is a Japanese privet, some kind of privet that I put out there for them. Over here, I'm sure this one gets too much shade because of this tree here, but I needed some balance, and it did flower this year, so I think it's going to be okay. We have some flowers on it now. This is called a tea olive, and it has the white flowers. I have another one over here that also flowers in white. As you can see, it's a lot bigger than that one because it's getting more sun than that one over there, but I'm going to leave them as they are. Now I'll get into my little fruit tree oasis. I had planted this in my backyard, but I was going to have some mulch delivered, and he posed a good question to me. He asked me where my septic system was at because he didn't want to drive his big truck over my septic tank and mess up my lines. And so I had to move all the trees over here from the backyard because I wasn't sure at the time where it was at. And then when I went to the county and got an actual map, I still couldn't figure out exactly how far down it went into the yard. So I kind of backed all the new stuff up and planted it further, and I'll show you that when I get over there. But this is my Alberta peach tree, and it was planted in April of 23. It has not fruited yet, but it seems to be budding up really, really nicely this year. So maybe this year I may get some peaches off of it. And for the most part, all of my trees have come from Starks or Isons, with the exception of the citrus trees, which come from Madison or, oh Lord, Stan McKenzie Farms in Scranton, South Carolina. This one is, with the exception of this one as well, this is one of my Shiro plums. And the story behind this is I had a Shiro and Methley plum at the old house that was a 2-in-1 cocktail tree. And when I moved here, I couldn't get that tree. And so I ordered scions. And I think I ordered 5. I tried to graft 2 of them onto another peach tree that I had, and I stuck the other 3 scions into the dirt, and all 3 of them grew. So you can see here, the branches are so low to the ground because this was a very small, maybe 6-inch piece of scion cutting that I got off of eBay. And this was planted February of 22 as well. And this tree actually gave me one plum this year. This tree over here is another tea olive. This is the one that I bought before I got the smaller ones. Again, this is for the bees because they just love those flowers. And it smells wonderful when you walk past it. Over here I have another Shiro. It was started at the same time as the one I just showed you. Again, you can see how low the trunk is, where it starts at, because it was such a small piece of scion wood when I planted it. So buying scions and sticking them in the ground really works, y'all. This one did not give me any fruit this year, but another one at the other end did, and I'll show you that one when I get down there. This is fairly new to me. This is my Salavotsky, I do believe. This is my Salavotsky pomegranate, and it was planted in August of 23. Over here we have one of my blueberry bushes that I have struggled with. It seems like I must have gotten it right because it is getting new growth on it. This one is the Kruger, and that was planted December of 23. Here I have probably one of the first trees I ever bought because I had this one at the other location, and it was such a good fruit. I had to have this one, and it is my Flamin' Fury peach. This is a really, really good peach, and that was planted 3 months after I moved here in May of 21, and I cut it back extensively every year. And you see, let me back up some, how big she is now. And she's starting to bud. Last year we got a late frost, so I ended up with only 4 peaches off of this tree. So I'm hoping for more this year. Over here is my least favorite fig, which is the Brown Select, which is one of the original plants I purchased when I first moved here. And I just kind of brought that with me from the other house. Actually, no, I didn't. He brought it down here. But it's just here. It gets figs on it, but I don't particularly care for the taste of these. And that was probably planted down there like 2019. It's done more growing here since I planted it here than it ever did there. I kind of forget about it. Here's another Russian pomegranate, and I cannot pronounce this one, Serenevi maybe. And that one was planted in August of 23 as well. And here is a Instant Orchard Fantasia nectarine. I did not get fruit from it the first year that I planted it. So much for Instant Orchard. Last year, I did not get anything off of it. I think again because of the late frost. but it is budding up really nicely this year. And let's see if I see when I got this one. So this one was purchased February of 2022 as an instant orchard, and I've yet to get fruit off of it. So hopefully in 2025, I will get fruit. And I'm going to stop talking here in a minute because a truck is coming down the road. And then I will pick up over here with the Japanese loquat. And I'm in zone 7B, and it's not supposed to grow here. I mean, it's not supposed to fruit here. So let's see. August of 23 is when I got this. And last year it did flower, but it did not produce fruit. And it looks like it may do something again this year. It flowers in the winter and fruits in the winter. But that is my Japanese loquat. Over here, I actually just got this pear tree, and it gave me 4 of the best tasting pears I have ever had, ever. And I planted this in April of 23 and got pears this past summer. It is the Shinshiki Asian pear. Really, really good pear. It's not gritty at all like other pears, which is why I don't like pears, because of that grittiness. But that one right there definitely is a keeper. Let's see, let me go over here. This is my Mephley plum. Again, because I couldn't find the cocktail tree, I had to purchase it separate. And so I bought this one, I think February of 22 as well. Yep, February of 2022, and it is the Mephley. It's pretty big, and I'm hoping again for fruit this year. Let's see. And I keep them all trimmed up as much as I can. I'll take them down some more. Last year I trimmed late winter. This year I've already trimmed for the year. Here is a blueberry. I think it's dead. It's a Titan blueberry. It's never done anything. I've never had any luck with the blueberries. Over here is my garlic bed, which garlic is trying to come up. I keep covering it with leaves, but anyway, we're not going to talk about garlic. This behemoth right here is one of the first, not one of the first pear that I planted, and it is called the pineapple pear. I have taken that center down twice, and it shoots back up, so it will be coming down again. Not this year though. I did trim some of the other ones back so that I can get some of these sideward growing branches. I had water bottles on them to kind of bring them down. It helped a little bit, but I still had to prune to get them to come out. And I bought this again February 22. That was my go crazy, replace my fruit tree year. But that is the pineapple pear. Here is the third Shiro plum that I started from a Scion cutting that I ordered off of eBay or Amazon, one of them. I can't remember which one. This one gave me 3 plums this past summer, and it was started in February, literally started in February of 2022 from a 6-inch piece of Scion cutting. And again, you can see down here, that little base at the bottom, that was the 6 inches. And here, let's see, let me go up the middle so I don't get discombobulated. So here is, I believe this is my pluot, what is it? Yeah, my spring satin plumcot. It was planted in August of 22. I have not gotten any fruit off of that as of yet either. And so I'm hoping again that this year, well, in 25, I will get some fruit. It's budding really nice, and just keep those late frosts back. Here's what I did. Oh, I can't show you that one. It's not, something broke off of it. Let me see if I can find another one. Hold on, I want to show you something that really worked to deter birds, because it scared me a couple of times. So I took these little thick bajiggies and I put mirrors on them. And as the wind blows them and the sun hits them, it casts shadows across the ground, light. And it scares the birds, scares me. So it works. So there's a lot that I need to replace. But I was wondering how a real mirror sitting out here would work. I don't know. But let's continue, shall we? Here is a persimmon tree. I don't think I ordered this one. Yeah, a Tananashi persimmon. Got it in April of 2023. And what happened with this one, I had ordered 3 trees from Ison, and they shipped me the wrong trees. They shipped me that. They shipped me a Eureka persimmon and a Fuji apple, and I can't remember, a quince tree. The quince has died. The Eureka persimmon never flowered, never leafed out, but the rootstock did. So I've moved that over to my wooded area, and I'm going to let that go ahead and grow as the rootstock of whatever was on it. And so what I have left is this and the Fuji. And they did ship me the 3 trees that I did order. So I have to give them their props for that, because they didn't have to do that. Well, yeah, they did. And they didn't take these back and didn't want the 4 that they sent me back. So I came out ahead. Now I'll say 2.5 trees, because I really didn't want the American persimmon, which is, I'm sure, is what that Eureka was grafted onto. Okay, so then I'll go here. This is my newest addition to the collection. And I got these this past Saturday. And this is the Warren pear. And I actually got this from Century Farms and Orchard in Reidsville, North Carolina. So that's a new plant. Over here, did I already do this one? No, I didn't. This is my Lee Jujube. My Lee Jujube. Let me tell you about this finicky thing here. It was one of the early ones. I planted this, February 22? Yep, February of 22. And it was one of the ones that was in the backyard. So when I moved it in 2023, it did absolutely nothing. No leaves, no nothing until 2024. And literally, I'm telling y'all, I threatened it. I gave it this year to give me some more leaves or something, or I was going to pull it. And it leafed out. It loaded up with flowers, but it did not give me fruit. So we're going to see what it does next year. Because actually what I did, they say it doesn't need a pollinator, but I'm not sure I believe that now. So what I did is I bought another jujube, and it is back on the other side, and I'll show you that a little bit. I bought a honey jar jujube, which gave me 1 honey jar jujube this year. That thing was really good. Here's another blueberry that I believe is just dead and gone, and this is the Olakami blueberry. I think that's how you say it, but I'm gonna leave it because I still have faith in it. This is another newbie. I just got this one Saturday as well from Century Farms, and that is the Olympic, or the Korean pear. And I just planted that as well. And then here I have another pear tree, which is, I believe, the Moon Glow. Yes, the Moon Glow, and that was planted November of 2023. So that's my little section here of everything that had to be moved from the backyard over here. And then here is the free Fuji tree that I got. And I got that in April of 2023. It's a Fuji apple. My apples really are over in the back, except for I was running out of space, so I had to stick these somewhere. So I put that here. And because I had that here, I stuck another apple tree over here. And this is the transparent yellow, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is the transparent, yellow transparent. And it was planted in February of 2024. And that also came from Century Farms in North Carolina. This tree here is another pair that I got from Century this past weekend. And it is the Mijitsu pear. And I just planted that. I guess that's how you say it, Mijitsu. That was just planted as well. Let me come back up this way. See, I got sidetracked by that truck. It made me come over here and show y'all stuff that I wasn't supposed to show you yet. Up here is the honey jar jujube that I got from Edible Landscapes. Forgot about them. I got this from Edible Landscapes September of this year. So I just planted that thing, and it gave me the best jujube I have ever tasted. I did get jujube off of my Lee the first year I planted it, but the taste was nowhere near what this one was. And I had actually thought that the birds got it, but when I looked down, it was down on the ground. And this is what they look like. And they're a little bit bigger than the Lee, I believe. And it was really, really super sweet. Okay, I just got this thing too. And I made some wine out of it. I got mixed reviews on that. That is called I knew I wasn't gonna remember. When I think about it, I'll tell you what it is. Beauty berry. Very pretty bush when it is full of the purple berries. So let's go back down here. Down here is where I put stuff that I need to really, really survive on its own, because I don't always feel like pulling that water hose away out here. So here I have a goji berry. And it's probably given me 10 berries since I put it out here, but really it's neglected. But it's okay. I'm of the survival of the fittest. So either make it or no. This is the Olakami. I really planted this for the bees. Ogeechee lime. And that was planted May of 23. It had a lot of berries on it, or a lot of something, flowers, I guess, this year, but it really did not. I don't know what happened. Maybe the birds got it because it was just loaded. And then when I checked again, there was nothing on it. I hope you can see that. There we go. Let's go this way. So there wasn't much of anything on it. Here is another pineapple guava. And I was thinking about planting a bunch of these to make on my border. This was planted August of 23. But I decided against it partially, I think. I'm not really 100% decided against it. This is one of the Seville bitter oranges that was planted in 2023 as well. And that probably came from Stan McKenzie. This is another pineapple guava. I got this one the same time I got the other one. They're pretty slow growing. And see, up there to the road is where I really want to do a privacy hedge to try to knock down some of that dust that comes flying down here all the time. But I also don't want the berries all over the ground. So, I don't know. Still torn on that. But I know I'm not going to get a fence because they quoted me $27,000 for a fence. Man, do you know what I can buy with $27,000? How many fruit trees I can buy with $27,000? This is one of my biggest disappointments about leaving the other house, because this thing takes 10 to 15 years. Star King Giant Pecan. I just purchased this August of 24. I have one at the other house. Well, let me correct that. I had one at the other house, which should be coming on right about 10 years now. And I kept asking for cuttings because I was going to try to start it. I wouldn't have to wait that long time to get nuts, but I never got the cuttings. So I finally just relented, paid the money for this one, and just stuck it in the ground. And over here is an apple tree, a little seedling that I started from the rocket apple. I'm not a big apple eater, but when I tasted that rocket apple, very small, maybe about 4 bites, it's perfect. That's all I needed. Usually if I eat a whole apple, I can't eat a whole apple actually, but if I get a regular size apple, I'll take 4 or 5 bites and then I'll throw it away because I think apples are pretty boring actually. And this I started from a seed in 2023, spring of 2023. And I have 2 more over there. Here, and all down this row, I stuck blackberry cuttings from the bush that's about to eat my house. I'll show you that when I get up there. I've taken those cuttings. I have about 16 other cuttings in pots. Those things just really take off. This is a Seville orange, or bitter orange, I do believe. And why don't I have a label on it? I'm gonna have to get a label put on there. Missed that one, but that is one of my bitter oranges. More than likely came from Stan McKenzie. And here is the second apple tree that was started from the rocket apple. I'm not sure what it will produce, which is why I have it way back here at the edge of my property, so the deers can get to that if it's not good before they come messing with my other stuff. Here I have a pawpaw, and I think this one is called Sunflower. Yeah, it's a sunflower pawpaw, and that was planted April of this year as well. Now, what I was told by the nursery is that this thing does not need a pollinator. Everything I've read about it says it does, which is the only reason I bought that one, is because it supposedly does not need a pollinator. So I didn't want 2 pawpaw trees, but I think I'm going to have to break and get another pawpaw tree and plant it right over in there somewhere. Okay, so let's go this way. Here is another tree that I was requesting cuttings from and never got. And this is my pecan tree. Doesn't take as long as, oh no, this is my almond actually. This is the all-in-one almond. Doesn't take as long as the pecan to produce. I hope I said pecan over there, the other tree, and not almond. Hopefully I did. Okay, so this is the pecan. So I had to buy this one too. And so it's a little teeny something, but I have no other choice but to wait on them. I'll wait. Here, taking center stage, is a tree that I hope to be my favorite. See some little buds on it. This is the rubaiyat. This is a red flesh apple, and I bought that I think April of 24. Yep, April of 24 I purchased that rubaiyat, and that internal color is just red as a beet. So I'm pretty excited about that tree there, which is why it got center stage all by itself. Okay, let's talk about this one. This was my Williams Pride apple. I said was because working in the yard this year, I had the grandchildren moving the hose around for me as I was on the lawnmower, watering stuff, and the water hose snapped it right here. and it tried to grow a little bit, so I left it alone, but then everything kind of went dry on it. So I'm gonna leave it until spring and see if it comes back out, because I bought that in 2023. See if it comes back out. If not, I stuck this in the ground over here. Some kind of lemon off of one of those, off of that one that I cut down short. If the apple doesn't make it, maybe that piece of lemon will, bitter lemon will. Here is one of the apples that I got from Century. And I believe this one is the Arkansas Black. Let's see. Yep, it is the Arkansas Black. And I got that one in November of 23. And I've cut that down several times as well. And it's doing pretty good, actually. Again, I have my little mirror things on here to kind of keep the birds away. But the true test will be when it has fruit, if it works or not. But I do notice less bird activity in my yard in the spring and summer. This would be the Fuji that I bought originally, because that's my favorite apple. It was until I tasted the Rocket, which I can't hardly find anymore. But anyway, that's my Fuji. And I also got this. Oh, shoot. This one didn't come from Century. This one must have come from Ison or Starks. I'm not sure which one. But that was planted in August of 2022. So I think it's getting time, guys. I should be getting me some apples. This one here is called the Joseph apple. I planted that in November of 22 as well. That came from Century Farms. He has some really, really nice trees over there, guys. If you get a chance, look him up. He sells them from, I think, he sells all year, but he doesn't ship except for November through April, I think. And then there's 2 weekends in November that he opens up his property for you to come in and pick up your apples. Your apple trees. You can also buy apples. He grows hundreds of different varieties, and he puts them out, and you can taste the different apples before you buy the trees. You can buy on site, or you can order in advance. Here is another apple that I got from him. I was saying 22, November of 22. Yep, and it's called the Summer Banana. So that is, now let me tell you a story about this apple. Since they've been taking those trees down out there in that forest area there, the deer have been coming into the yard, and there was a baby deer, and I saw it, and I said, oh, it's so cute. And I went away from the window, and later, this tree right here was laying that way across the ground, and I couldn't figure out what it was by looking out my back window. So when I walked out here, the darn thing had did this to the tree. It's healing up now. It's been probably a couple of weeks. Did that, and that branch I just kind of stuck in the ground, replanted it. Then I came out here with my Carolina Reaper spray. And I sprayed everything down. And guess what? Those deer have not been back in my yard. Here is the Hokutu. I think that's how you say it. Hokutu tree. It holds the world's record for the biggest apple. Planted November of 2022. You'll notice it's smaller. Let's go over this way. It's smaller than the other trees that it was purchased the same time. And it is smaller because of these babies right here. But those are the trees that the bees absolutely love. And they get lots and lots of nectar from those trees. And so those trees aren't going anywhere. And the name escapes my mind right now, but I'll remember it in a minute when I'm not thinking about it. Tulip poplars. That's what those trees are. Have them all around me, all in the woods. And I think there's about 10 on my property. And I get a lot of honey since moving here. So that was a blessing. So here, now I don't know which pomegranate this is, because when I trimmed the Salavosky and the Serenevi, however you say it, I just literally stuck the cuttings in a pot with some cuttings from my other trees, the peach and pears and all those trees that I had pruned last year. And this was in the bucket, in the pot this year. So I don't know which one it is, but I planted it and it's growing quite well. So here we have another bitter orange or Seville that I got from Stan McKinsley. And if you notice, I did take the top off of it. I think this is the one I topped. Did I top both? Yeah, I took the top off of that one. But I bought this one in 2023 as well. Here I have another hopefully showstopper. This is an apple that's used heavily in France, and it's called the Caville Blanc d'Ivoire. And I purchased that in February 2024. My French is not Frenchin, but that's the way I'm going to pronounce it, and I'm sure it's not said like that, because I think Blanc is actually blah or something like that. But anyway, that's that tree. And I'm excited for that one. I also got that one from Century, Century Farms. This one I just got, this pomegranate tree I'm about to show you, I just got from Edible Landscapings this year in April when they had an open house. And this one is called the Bala Mersal pomegranate. So I'm looking forward to that one growing as well. It's supposed to be cold hardy. He had trees full of them, and he's in Virginia, so I figured if he can grow them in Virginia, surely I can grow them in North Carolina. Again, another bitter orange. Guys, this is the one that was super, super tall. I did take that one back. And that's the piece you see over there in that Williams Pride, beside the Williams Pride apple that was. Here's my newest fig trees that I'm not going to cover this year. I'm not going to do anything. Because why? They die back no matter what I do. And this one is the Italian Golden Honey Fig. And that was planted in 2023, November. That also came from Century Farms in North Carolina. And as did this one. This is the Violet Day Bordeaux. I got 2 figs off of this one this year. They were good. Yeah, nothing I'd write home about. Maybe I'm just not a fig person. This one is one of my oldest ones. And I got this from Mackenzie's farm. And it is the Celeste. It was planted in May of 23. I got quite a few figs off of that one this year as well. Again, look at the sun behind me. Not really impressed with figs. Actually, it still has one on there now. Let's see if I can see. So yeah, it still has figs on it. This one I purchased as a Black Mission fig, but it obviously is not a Black Mission fig. And the fig community all think it is some type of Celeste or an improved Celeste. And it has figs on it as well. So I was kind of disappointed that I didn't get my Black Mission, but it's okay. All that growth is from this year, from all of these, because, except for the last 2 down there. I had kept them in the house until the spring, but these 3 here were all in ground last year, covered well. I used empty bee boxes, plastic garbage bags, blankets, everything, and they still died down. So we're not going to do any of that this year. This here is my LSU purple fig. I've gotten a fig off of this one this year, maybe 2. Again, I don't really care for them, but other people really like them. So let's see, which way shall I go? I guess we'll go this way. So we're going up Citrus Road now. I'm not going to really touch on the citrus trees. That's against this line because those are kind of my test test area right there. Yeah, my experimental area. Ooh, I don't want to walk in front of these bees either while I'm not paying attention. So, you know, that thing under the green, that's a citrus tree. And I have to go back this way because y'all see those bees? They kind of alternate their boxes, kind of keep them busy at their own stuff. Okay, this is a Mawa kumquat. And I'll probably cover this because I just planted this July of this year. And I'm probably going to cover that more than likely when the temperatures drop, because I don't think the root structure is good enough for it to make it through the first winter here. Yeah, we're not going to touch on any of this citrus stuff. Over here, let's see, all citrus. Oh, we'll go this way. So here is a blueberry bush. This is the Prime Arc. See, it's called Prime Arc Freedom. And that thing is aggressive. I'm telling you, it's aggressive. I cut that off again, the two that I originally purchased. Well, three I originally purchased. Actually, no, this was not a cut off piece. This was the third one. I had planted it on the other side of my house where it doesn't get much sun. And this is really all that it has grown. Now, wait until you see the other ones that I purchased at the same time. They were all about the same size because I wanted, my plan was to put them all the same area so they can grow the same. But anyway, this one did not. So I moved it over here underneath my grapevine trellis, and I hope I don't regret that. I know I'll have to stay on that. Here's one of my grapevines. Didn't do much of nothing this year. It's the second year, I think, in ground. This is the Vanessa bunch. It was planted August of 2022. And y'all, honestly, I forget this thing is over here. So I really don't do what I should do with it, but I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better next year. This is another blueberry that I neglect. And this one is the Neptune. And it was planted the same time as the Vanessa. Here is another tree that I planted for the bees. This is the tea olive as well, but that one will have orange flowers. Very fragrant. Actually, it's called the fragrant tea olive. Then over here, this tree right here, I think I'm gonna have to cover, even though I have the barrel behind it, because it absolutely is a finicky tree. This is a Barbados cherry. And we all know that does not grow in zone 7B, period. But it is doing really well after it came out of the shock of me moving it and transplanting it twice. The other one, not so much. I'm not even gonna show you that one because it's just a stick and I'm pretty sure it's dead. But this one, this is gonna be the challenge for me this winter. But I think I'm gonna get it through the winter. If I don't, it's okay, but I'll be disappointed. But it'll be all right. This is another piece of that blueberry that's up by my house that I said I'm gonna have blueberries everywhere. And let me tell you, those blueberries are about the size of a 50-cent piece. And if you leave them on the plant, they are the sweetest blueberries I've ever had. I actually picked two off of that one I just showed you last week, and those things were super sweet. Okay, this is one of my elderberries. This is the cut leaf elderberry. Bought this one in April of 24 from Edible Landscapes in Virginia. It's doing pretty good, I think. Here is the third and final apple tree that I planted from the rocket. Again, you see I have it at my property line because I don't know what it's going to give me. And I don't want to have to dig that thing up if it's not a good apple. It'll be for the deer. Back here, when I was telling you about my one of those persimmons splitting the rootstock, this is, I thought it had died, but this is the persimmon that's coming back up from the Eureka. It had actually, it split off of the original plant. And so I brought that piece over here and planted it. That was the rootstock, actually. A piece of the rootstock had split off. So I brought it over here. I thought it died. And then it started growing again, so I left it alone. But eventually, let me show you over here. Eventually, the whole tree just started shooting up rootstocks. And so the rest of it is here. This was the Eureka. And it just never grew anything off of the portion that was grafted to the side, to the rootstock. But it throws up all kind of stuff from the rootstock. So I brought it over here to the edge of my property as well to let it do whatever it does. And it's neglected there because I never ever come back here to water either one of those. Because honestly, I don't think about it. Here I have a Ichikai Kai Zero planted November 23. Now let me tell you, this is when I was first disappointed in what I was getting from Starks. That thing was about this tall. Actually, it wasn't even that tall. Maybe it was that tall because this part, the rootstock, was bigger than the piece that they had grafted onto it. But it seems to be doing okay. Sometimes I make a conscious effort to water that. Y'all look, remember all those crazy bugs that was over here? Now we have ladybugs or whatever those things are, but the tree is still growing. And I said I wasn't going to touch on the citrus, but look at there. That's all I'm gonna say about that citrus. That was a lemon tree that I started from seed. Here are my strawberries. Well, I was intending to move them over where the other strawberries are at, which I forgot to tell you about where all the fruit trees are, because they really don't get much sun here. They get some sun, but not as much because of my house throws shade half the day. Here is my lacinato kale. Now, I'm trying to remember if they've been here 2 years or 3. They've been here a while. Look at that stalk on them babies. I've been waiting for them to go to seed, and they just haven't gone to seed. They continue to grow. And I'm probably going to have to stake them because they're really getting too tall. Look at that. And all summer, they don't really do anything. But once the temperature cools down, they just start growing again. So I leave them, let them do what they're going to do. I think I got a piece of Swiss chard trying to come up from last year right there. And the rest of that is all strawberries. I cover them with leaves and they keep poking their head up. So I guess that's where they want to be. So I'm going to leave them. This is where I had my blackberry bush at. You can see this pole was blocking it, this pole. And there's something growing here. And I'll be dog, it looks like, I know I didn't leave a piece of that blackberry over here. What is that, guys? Is that a blackberry? I'm gonna have to see. If it is, I'm gonna leave it there. But I also had a some type of flowering vine here before I put the blackberry. But it had died, and the leaves didn't look like that. I don't know. I have to figure that one out. Over here's another area that I just throw stuff at for the bees or stuff that reseeds. Now, that's that brown spot there. That's where my Jerusalem artichokes are at. I pulled some already, and then I left the other ones in the ground. And I put some turnips over here. And you see, they aren't coming up. But these mustards that reseeded from last year are kind of taking over. Now, and then I have potatoes that I had here 2 years ago. They're still over here. I thought for sure I got all them out. But in the spring, this whole area will be covered with cone flowers or corn flowers. Really pretty. Bees be all over it. And that's actually what I originally planted here, but when they start dying back, I just kind of start throwing other seeds and stuff out of here. But this mustard is going to seed, so I will have more mustard seeds over here. I won't pull these. I'll just let them drop, and I'll have more mustard greens here again next year. This is another elderberry. This is the black lace elderberry. It also came from Edible Landscapes, and I got this in April of 24. So I just got that one this year as well. I'm new to growing elderberries, don't have a clue, so mostly I just leave it alone. Let's cover this right here. So the people who lived here before me were avid hunters, so they had this thing, and it did work. Well, it probably still does, and it goes up and they hang their deer and all that good stuff and cut it and all that. Well, I planted this vine here, wisteria. Ooh, y'all looky what I see. Do y'all see that? Ah, sugar. Y'all busted. Oh, I'm gonna have to come and spray my wisteria. Okay, kudzu bugs. But anything, this is wisteria. And every wisteria I have ever smelled, y'all, smell just heavenly. Heavenly. But this thing right here, oh my God, it's not one of those. It actually stinks. But anyway, it's pretty when the purple flowers get on it, even if it's stinky. Over here is an area I threw a bunch of seeds, green seeds from last year's crop. And so we have mustard, we have turnip, which I did actually plant the turnip. And we also have some lacinato kale coming up over there. I have garlic right here in this little area here. But y'all, I totally forgot. This area is my chamomile area. And look at that, it's coming up. And so I don't know who's gonna win this battle, the chamomile or the greens. But this chamomile is coming up between the greens even. And I hope the chamomile can sustain itself in here because it's really pretty and I use it a lot in my teas. Over here I planted either onions, or those baby bulbs that be on garlic. And honestly, I don't know which one, but they are coming up already. You see here, I want to say that's onions, but those baby bulbs, yeah, the baby garlic bulbs look more like grass, but I don't know. We'll find out when I dig them up. I'm probably gonna have to rake some more leaves over here to cover those up. Okay, let's see. Where am I? Let's see. Got all that over there. I think I'm coming up to the end, guys. Coming up to the end. To the mighty blueberry. Blackberry. Dang, I wasn't saying blueberry on those other bushes. Blackberry. Primark Freedom. This thing right here, I think it's gonna pull my deck down, honestly, which is barely standing as it is. But this thing was maybe about, I say maybe 12 inches tall when I bought it this past May. And I was kind of questioning the seller because it had a pretty hefty price on it to be so small. And she says to me, once you put it in the ground, it'll really take off. She did not lie. I've taken between this plant and this one on the other side, I've taken no less than 20 cuttings off of these two things. And you see it's snaking around there. But they're really good blackberries, so I won't complain. But I'll definitely look at that. Definitely have to keep a close eye on them because they're very aggressive growers, guys. I might be able to make me some money off of those this year. Oh, let me come over here. Oh, let's go this way first. So in my old watermelon patch, need some work. Don't be looking at it. Need some work. I planted garlic. And look at this bush growing already. I keep covering it. It's all the way down that way. I keep covering it and it keeps coming up. And I'm hoping it's going to be okay because we have very, very unusually warm weathers right now. Here's another beauty berry bush. You can see the berries on that one. Isn't that pretty? This is all volunteer stuff except for my little spinach. I did plant my little spinach out here. Those are volunteers from last year. That right there, I do believe those are Brussels sprouts. But I don't think they're going to do anything, which is odd because when I tried to grow these things, all I got was little teeny, yeah, they're definitely Brussels sprouts. I didn't even plant them this year because I had such a hard time with them last year. But look at this. Anybody have a Cadodo fig that spreads across the ground instead of growing up? I don't know why this thing is growing like this. I actually won this by answering a question from a YouTube channel. And I know I've had that thing. This is the second winter. So let's say I got it in 2022. And it was in a different spot. It was up in the area that I first showed you where I said it was for the bees and it was getting a lot of shade. So I put it out here in the full sun and it's growing like a ground cover. I don't know. So let's go back this way. Here I just threw some seeds in the air from greens that I had grown, excuse me, last year over top of this was a sweet potato and a potato patch over here. So I just threw greens out here and I'll let them get a little bit bigger and then I'm gonna start picking some of them so I can thin them out some. Over here is my sweet potatoes coming back up. Actually, they were just roots that I left in the ground to see if they would grow next year. And they have started growing already. And I've cut more vines off. Excuse me. I've cut more vines off. And I have a pot of sweet potato vines in the house growing, as well as 2 big jars of sweet potato cuttings growing for next year. Here is the many cuttings that I took of those blackberry bushes up there. And I cut it back. You know I can't throw no plants away, y'all. It's getting ridiculous, really. Here's my hot peppers. These are called Lemon Drop. They're a really good pepper. And I've kind of been lazy with them this year because I just didn't feel like dehydrating anymore because I still have a lot from last year. And let that truck go on. And they were really late to turn yellow this year for some reason. Well, I know why. Because of always, look at that, the shadow from those trees. So I'm gonna leave them out here as long as they'll stay, and I'll probably pick those today and go ahead and throw them in the dehydrator and get me some more dried peppers going. Here, I was anticipating cold weather, so I moved my Carolina Reaper plants into the shed, and it's pretty hot in here, which is why I had the door open. That plant in the back is 8 or 9 years old. If you go back in my videos, you'll see the original video that I made of that. And oh, here comes another truck. Give me a second, y'all, till this truck passes. This is what I'm dealing with all day for the last about 4 months while they pull these trees out of that field and whatever this is for. So normally I get no traffic here because I'm at the end of the road until you go into that hunting. It used to be a hunting area, and the same guys had rented it for 14 years. Well, the owner sold it this past summer. And so whatever they're doing down there, they've been doing for quite a while. And I'm tired of it because look at the dust. My car stays filthy, absolutely stays filthy. But anyway, back to the Reapers. It took 18 months for me to finally get one pepper off of my Reaper plant. And so what happened is I had puppies and they had knocked the labels out of all of my pepper plants. So I didn't know which one was the Reaper. So I took that winter, I took probably about 20 or 30 pepper plants in the house to care for them until I found that Reaper. And then the following year, it did flower and fruit for me. And so that is the original Reaper plant from way back then. Sometimes I'll put it into the ground, but it gets entirely too big. I've cut it back. I can't tell you how many times I've cut it back, but next year I'm going to go ahead and put it in the ground again. When it was moved down here, it touched the ceiling of my house. But someone moved it on the back of a truck with a sheet on the back of it, and all I got when I pulled the sheet off was broken branches, and so I had to cut it all the way down almost to the pot. So it's been through a lot, and then I took this second piece off of it. I took that off about 2 years ago and started it in a second pot, and so I have 2 Carolina Reaper plants that give me way too many pepper plants. In here, this is the Vicks Vapor Rub plant. It doesn't withstand winter, and I have one in the house to keep it going. I'm gonna leave those there to see if they make it out here in the shed, and I'm gonna leave some out in the ground to see if they make it or not. Let's see. Oh, I got a tree over here I don't think I told you about yet. This is another persimmon. And I think this is the Fuyu. It is. And it was planted September of 23. So that's my Fuyu persimmon tree. And then over here, we'll finish up at the greenhouse. No, we're not, because I got to show y'all something. There's a pomegranate in there, a wonderful pomegranate. And I think I may have showed y'all this before. I got to hurry up because my low power mode is coming. Okay, that is a wonderful pomegranate as well. I'll be taking this green covering off in the summer. This is my seedless chai. I got that from Edible Landscapes, and I'm hoping it makes it. These are cuttings from my 10 degree tangerine. I'm probably going to take them in the house and put them under lights. These are my pomegranates that I stuck again in the dirt, and they're growing. This is a Serenelli. Oh, this got there's so much water in there. I must have a leak, or the moisture. I need to open this thing up. Salavovsky, that's the Bala, and that's the Serenelli. And so I'm gonna see what I end up with at the end of in the summer. And this is a piece off the kumquat. This was the kumquat rootstock. And this is some more of the Vicks Vapor plant. And if you were in here, you would smell it. It smells just like Vicks salve in there right now. Okay, I'm going to show y'all my lemons real quick just because. And then I'm going to close out because this thing might die on me. I just got my warning. I don't know how long I have afterwards. But look at that. That's a ponderosa, baby. Look at that right there. And look at this one. I think this one is bigger. It absolutely is bigger. Those are my ponderosa lemons from a tree that is 2023. I got a ponderosa, a eureka, and a Lisbon all on that tree. This one I think is the Lisbon. No flowers yet, Back here is the Eureka. Not doing much, but the big one is the Ponderosa. Okay, guys. That is a look at what is going on at the Eagles spot. Woo! As always. I lied again. One more. This is a panache fig. Definitely not supposed to grow here, but I'm going to cover it and hope that these two trees beside it keep it warm, as well as more of this Vicks plant. I'm trying to save that too. So now for real, guys, that is all. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video content. Look at this. If I tell y'all that blackberry bush is outrageous, all that is blackberry cuttings, except for these. These came from when I trimmed my plum trees. And I got some over here from my pear trees as well. There's more here. Literally did nothing. Trimmed them and stuck them in dirt. That's it. And I'm hoping for great success in the spring. Now I'm done. And as always, thanks for watching. Whew. Shoot your girl a thumbs up. Hallelujah. Good job. Something. Let me know you enjoyed the content. And I'm out because I have to get to the charger.